Welcome to 5thRoundRadio. I'm your host, Tom No. Sitting alongside a special guest today, UFC 111 lightweight Mark Bocek. He holds an 8-2 professional record. He's finished 6 via submission. Mark, how you doing today?
Good. Glad to be here.
Thanks so much, man. Mark, you're 28 years old, and you're on the cusp of entering the biggest fight of your career on possibly the biggest stage of 2010 as far as a mixed martial art event goes. Tell us how you're feeling right now.
Feeling really good, and I think your next fight is always the biggest fight of your career. Trained really hard. Can't wait to get in there.
So as you're approaching Jim Miller this weekend, for those that don't know, Miller holds a 16-2 professional record, and he too is very well versed on the ground. 10 submissions. Mark, what are you going to do as far as his stand-up? Because most people believe that it's a lot better than yours. And at this point, are you tired of having to defend your stand-up game?
No, I don't care what people think. All the talk or hype. It's just all that really matters is what happens on fight day. I've worked on all the areas. Miller's a grinder. He's got good cardio, so I've just made sure to be in extra special good shape for this fight. As far as strategy goes, I can't reveal the strategy. That's a secret. But I've gone through hell for this fight, and I'll find a way to win.
Can you tell us about what a fighter does? Take a fan behind the scenes. What do you do fight week? You're already in New Jersey, correct?
Leaving tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Leaving tomorrow. So say you get there, and that'll leave you about three and a half full days. What's the expectation for you when you get there, as far as media requirements and things like that?
Well, the hard training's over. Now it's just tapering and making the weight. That's the only thing right now. So when we get there, they bring us in and they weigh us to make sure, to have an idea of how far we are off weight, if it'll be even possible to make weight. Then they'll make us sign about a hundred of the event posters. A little mini interview after that. Then usually the next day, you do your film interviews for the event. I train lightly twice a day. I'll do some cardio in the morning and some light training at night. And Friday's weigh-ins. After that, rehydrate, put some weight back on, and then just relax till fight time.
Mark, what's your weight at right now?
About 170.
170. And what would you ideally like to be the night before weigh-ins?
Generally about 166 night before.
166. Wow. So you can cut 11 pounds by about 4 o'clock the next day, huh?
I'll do about 11, like 3-4 hours before the weigh-in.
Okay. And how important do you think that extra weight's going to be in this fight against Miller? Because he does like to press on you quite a bit, or quite on his opponents quite a bit.
I don't think I'm going to be outsize or outstrength. I've taken this fight like my last 3 fights, super seriously with extra emphasis on cardio, strength and conditioning. I've got a lot of similar training partners that are southpaws to his style that I think are better versions of him. So I'm prepared for anything he throws at me. I don't think he's gonna muscle me around or anything like that. I think if anything, I'll be just as big as him, if not bigger.
Okay. And you're riding a 3-fight winning streak in the Saturday at the Prudential Center. How important was it for you to get on the televised portion, or even a big UFC event to, I guess, progress your career or get your name better known among Octagon fans?
Very important. I knew 3 in a row would get me there. Miller's an A-level guy, and beating him puts me in the A class. So I look forward to it, and I'm prepared, and I'm not going to waste this opportunity.
UFC fans that don't know, Mark, you have 10 professional fights under your belt, and 6 of them have been with the UFC. I mean, it's the world's premier mixed martial arts organization. Do you feel like you've been overlooked a little bit in your career thus far? And you would, obviously you wouldn't mind more, love and publicity from the fans. Tell us about that. Do you recognize that you should be, or do you feel you should be recognized more?
I don't really think about it. I just kind of consider myself a dark horse, After this fight, I think more people are going to know and see what I can do and what I'm capable of. I'm just focused on Miller right now. I don't I don't really care too much what other, say armchair warriors think, because they don't fight. They're not fighters.
Nice. And you said that you felt if you won this fight coming up this weekend, you would be amongst the 155-pound elite.
Yes.
Where
Absolutely.
does that you feel that puts you at the top of the food chain, or right amongst there
Well,
to get a shot?
I think it just puts me in the mix with the Ken Flows and the Maynards and Griffins in that class.
What do you think about the champ BJ? Most people think he's untouchable right now. Do you see that too?
Everybody's beatable. I think, if anything, maybe people are overlooking Frankie a little bit. Diego, Kenny, they all went 3-4 rounds with BJ, and I think Frankie's a little better than those guys. So you would think he could do it, at least that. Be an interesting fight. I don't think anyone should be overlooked, but I'd probably give a little edge to BJ, but it's not really who the better fighter is. It's going to be who fights best that night.
Absolutely. Now we've seen in the past, sometimes BJ doesn't like to train as hard for certain fights. He seemed to turn that corner now.
Yeah.
Do you think that he could possibly be overlooking Frankie because he's going to be such a significant advantage going into UFC 112?
I don't think he'll make those mistakes again. I mean, nobody, after Diego, after Kenny, after Shirk, I don't think anybody can question his cardio right now. He's taken all these fights really seriously. I don't think he's overlooking Edgar at all. I just think that'd be really foolish.
Mark, in your mind, who do you think are the top 5 in the UFC's 155-pound division right now?
BJ Penn, Gray Maynard, Frank Edgar, Tyson Griffin, and I mean, it's very stacked. You have, Guida. Guida's kind of, he fights a top guy and he'll lose, and he'll fight a guy just below that and he'll win and he'll come back. So he's there. Miller's there. It's a very stacked division.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate your time. We know it's crunch time this week for you, so we don't want to take any more of your valuable minutes. But Mark, if you don't mind sending out a message to your fans and let them know the best way they can go about supporting you.
Thanks for all the support to the loyal fans that stuck by. I really appreciate it. Look forward to a good, exciting fight on the 27th.
Mark, do you have a website or Twitter or anything that they can, Facebook, anything?
Yeah, markbocek.com. I have a Twitter account, but I'm not really sure what the website is. I just want to thank a few sponsors: Tap Out Sports Nutrition, Majors Pharmacy, Draco Impact Armor, MGInAction.com, Jacko Indie Mart, ATT.
Nice. Oh, one last question. As far as the sponsorship goes, you're the first bout on the televised portion, right? So you're kind of,
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way they have you lined up right now. So that being said, you're kind of on the cusp of not being on there. How were you? I mean, were you anxious to pay attention as far as advertising, sponsoring dollars come to you? Like, oh, if I'm not going to be on the televised,
it's a little easier. It's a little easier to get more bigger sponsors once you're on the main card, because not as many people are going to see the undercard. But for me, it's just I'm really happy to be on the main card, but in my mind, it's just another fight, just another guy.
Understand. Mark Bocek, thanks so much. We'll be supporting you on 5thRound.com. Look to see if you can bump your record up to 9-2. Thanks so much. We'll be right back on 5th Round Radio.